Great, as I mentioned previously in the previous video, now we're going to implement an extra input, user input message into the program. So instead of returning this string, basically what I want to return is an input message. So if the program finds out that the user passed a word that has a similar words in the dictionary, then you want to ask the user to enter Y or N. So how do we do that? Well, with an input function, of course. Like that. So let's add another message after this. Enter Y if yes, or N if no. So basically, whatever the user enters, you need to process that input, and that input, so Y or N, they will be basically stored in a variable, but not yet. So in this configuration that we have here, nothing will be stored in the variable. It will just be a value on the fly. So you need to store this in a variable. Let's say yn, so for yes and no, equals to that. So now either y or n will be stored in yn variable, and you need to process that variable. So if yn equals to yes, what do we need to do? So if the user meant to say rain, then we return data. Here we need to pass the correct word. The correct word, we get the correct word from this expression. So get close matches will give us the best match, and we need to pass that match into the data dictionary, so we get the value of the definition for rain. Because so we use that match because the user agreed that the best match was rain. So this will be replaced by rain, and the user agreed for that. I hope this is clear. Please ask questions if this is complicated. I'll be happy to answer you. So if yes, then return this. Let me execute this intermediate step. Oh, sorry, I used the equal operator here, which is an assignment operator. So you need to check to use the comparison operator, which is constructed of two equal operators. Save the script again and go ahead. Enter word rain. Did you mean rain instead? Enter Y if yes or N if no. Let me enter Y. And yeah, we correctly get the definitions for rain. Great. Maybe I need to improve the message here. Delete the dot and use a colon there and a space. And that should be better. If you pass rain again, and if you pass yes or no, you just say N, you get none, because you are not taking into consideration the N string. So you get none because the function is not returning anything. You know what happened here is user passed rain in here. So word is equal to rain. Word is passed in here. So this y is equal to rain. And then we check if rain in data is not in data because it's with 2n. Right, so this is not executed. The function does not execute this statement. It doesn't return the definition for rain, but it goes to this statement, and this finds a similarity. So the list is greater than 0, and then it goes and executes this. So that's why we got this another input message here, and then we continue there. So we are indenting under elif. We have another nested conditional, which is no problem, but yeah, be careful, you need to indent it. So this is one level of indentation deeper than this one in here. So here we are. If the user passed y, we return this statement. If the user passes everything else, then you are not counting for that particular scenario. Therefore, there is no return statement executed, so the program will end here and it will return none because nothing was returned. This will also not be executed because this is one level of indentation with this one, and since this was executed, the program never goes to this level here. So what we need to do is we need to count for other user inputs such as n. In that case, if the user enters n, well, all we can do is return the message word doesn't exist, please double check it, which is the same as this one in here. And we need to count for another condition. You know, the user may pass y, may pass n, but they may also pass another random string, and you don't want the program to return none, you want the program to return a message such as we didn't understand your query. And that's it, that's all you can do. Or your entry, maybe that's better. So this is a program. Again, we have a scenario where the user enters rain, exactly, and this will be executed in that case. And the scenario when the user enters a word which does not have any match. So A is D, like CA, 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 C, something like that. In that case, this will not be executed. And yeah, that's it. Let me test the program now. Enter word rain. We get the definitions for rain. Again, enter word rain, like that. Did you mean rain instead? Enter y if yes, enter no if no. Let me try yes. And we get the definition correctly. And rain. Enter n for no. The word doesn't exist. Please double check it. Okay, that was good as well. So we got this executed. The other scenario would be like that. And instead of entering y and n, you just type in something. And you say we didn't understand your entry. Good. And the other scenario is when you enter a word that does not have any match at all. And in that case, this will be executed immediately. And that's it. By the way, even if you enter numbers, let's say 1, the word doesn't exist because it's not included in the dictionary. And yeah, I think our program is quite smart now. It's considering lots of scenarios there, and yeah, it's quite user-friendly, I'd say. However, there is one last thing that we can improve, and that's the way that the program displays the definitions. So when you pass, let's say, tree also has two definitions. Let's pass a word that has one definition, structure maybe. Oh, this has 3 definitions. All right. Pyramid. This also has 2 definitions. Anyway, you get the idea. I was trying to get to find a word that has 1 definition, but basically what you get with such a word that has 1 definition is you still get a list which ends in here, so it doesn't have a comma and it doesn't have any other items, so it's a list with 1 item. And when you have a word that has more than 1 meaning, you get this list with more than 1 items. So you don't want to show the user a list with brackets like that. The best thing to do to show to the user is, if you have 1 meaning, 1 definition for the word, you just show this definition, no quotes, no square brackets, just the definition. And if you have more than 1 definition, you only show 1 definition per line. So basically you have like multiple lines with definitions. And yeah, we need to implement that too to say finally that our program is good and can be used by anyone, and the output is easy to read. So think about that. We're going to implement it in the next lecture. See you.